Hi, I'm Heather from Booktubes, and today is supportive family romance recommendations. There is nothing that I despise more in my reading than having to read about a main character where her family just treats her like dirt. I don't like it with the love interest either, but we do tend to see it more with the main character, I feel like, especially delved into deeply. A lot of times the love interest had a really bad past and was maybe closed off, etc. But a lot of times with the main character, it's in real time still happening that she's an adult and her family doesn't treat her like that. And that drives me insane, like so far beyond insane, it's not even funny. So off the top of my head, I went ahead and picked some that are supportive families. And a lot of these, I will admit, are the love interest family. But you know, once you're part of the family, whether you're there by marriage or blood or just by your relationship status. So these are ones that I just knew, like a lot of them have different family members getting their own books and things like that. And it's just families that I really enjoy seeing in the other books. And so they were what I found right away. The very first one is Until November, which is Until Number 1 by Aurora Rose Reynolds. This is, I believe, the first book that introduces the Mason family. And the Mason family are the kind of pivotal, they're the central focus of most of Aurora Rose Reynolds' books. And then Aurora Rose Reynolds also has, I think it's Boom Publishing or something like that, but she has the Happily Ever Alpha world, and a lot of different authors do a book in that, but those books usually are about side characters that were in Aurora Rose Reynolds books. And so in the side books, you'll see the main events that happened in the certain book that side character is from. So a lot of times it's the love interest, best friend, and things like that. So the Masons are all boys, they're tall, they're good looking. This first generation, I think the whole family is the men. And then of course, then her Until Her Him series is about all of their kids. So you get lots of different ones in there. They're very alpha, lots of bad things happen. There's quite a bit of romantic suspense. It's usually, I feel like, it's kind of a smaller thread, like you'll see little bits and pieces, and then at the end somebody will get shot or kidnapped or something, and that'll be your ending before they live happily ever after, pretty much in every single book. So it's a very specific taste. When I'm in the mood for it, I'm like, yes, give it to me. When I'm not, I'm like, ugh. So it's kind of like candy or something like that. Next one I have is Playing for Keeps, which is Neighbor from Hell number 1 by R.L. Mathewson. This one, I will tell you, I feel like there are some technical errors and some typos and things like that in this series. However, I did really enjoy the dynamic. It is advertised as enemies to lovers, but they're honestly not. They have a misunderstanding and she really dislikes him over this misunderstanding, and they get over it right away. So it's kind of enemies to friends to lovers with not a whole lot of focus on the enemies, definitely not past the first chapter, but I just really enjoyed it. I just remember really enjoying it. I thought it was funny. There's some epic groveling in here because he screws up and you just kind of want to just beat him, but so he screws up and there's some groveling, but I really liked seeing them be friends that were falling in love, and it was kind of like neither one of them quite realized what was happening, and everyone around them could see it, and they were just like, no, we're friends, because he was like trying to help her find dates and stuff. I really liked it. I read a bunch of the spin-off series. All of the Bradford men fall epically for a neighbor of some sort, and it's always like enemies to lovers without them being enemies. It's just, I don't know, it's a very fun dynamic and I really enjoyed it. Then I have The Hookup by Kristen Ashley. This one was my first Kristen Ashley. I've talked about it a ton. It's the first in the Moonlight and Motor Oil duet, which the first book is a one-night stand, and she like wakes up that morning. She's never had a one-night stand before, and then he's like, I didn't think we were having a one-night stand. This is a bad day for me. And he's a little bit of a jerk. And she's like, oh, well, I don't know, I feel badly about that. And he's like, no, we can't be together. And then sees her one more time and is like, okay, no, now we're doing this. We are doing this. I just really, really, really loved it. But she has a sister and he has a brother, and they are the second book is their romance. And it's very interesting. I feel like this is a very much real life family dynamic while also being supportive. Like, she's worried for her sister. Her sister's in a bad relationship, not in an abusive way, but in a he's just a loser way. And she has a baby and she's struggling. And so she's worried about her emotionally and how she's handling everything. And then the brother has always kind of been the screw up, even though he really doesn't deserve that. And I feel like that really gets addressed in their book, and I really liked that. So the two girls, their mother died of cancer, so that is a content warning. And their dad was a rich prick who just kind of cut them off, and they struggled, and their mom made up for it. And then the two boys, their dad was amazing and died. I don't remember what he died from. And their mom just abandoned the family when they were children. And I love them all so much. But then also, if you need a content warning for cancer, somebody else in the books will have cancer also. So, you know me, I don't like super sad. So it's not that it gets super sad, but also I maybe cried. And so the girl, she has like Izzy, she has a best friend who really, you know, is her support system. She and her husband. And then the guy, what's his name? Johnny. I was just like, I can't get into the name Johnny. Let me tell you, I bought it in this book. I was just like, all right. They have kind of an adopted parents situation, not adopted, but like she was the neighbor. And she's just, you know, taking care of them. And she has this really sweet husband. And I just love them so much. Yeah, I don't know. I really love the characters in this duet. Like a lot. a lot. So the first one is the one night stand. And the second one is the single mom that is the sister and the brother. And they're so sweet. And I just love them all so much. Like, you should read these books because I love them. Then I have The Maleks by Jessica Gadziala. So this is a series where each brother gets their own book, and then like there's a novella I think I haven't read yet that is their parents getting together. But the Maleks are loan sharks in Mathewson Bank. And the first book is Shane, and she's really hot. I remember that. I think she's running from something. I definitely think she's up to something. I don't remember why. And then he runs the gym that's like his own business, but then also a little bit of a front for the loans, I think. I don't know. But I love them so much. But I will not read the fourth book because I'm just like, so sad. Can't do it. So yeah. I really love this family, and this is a great place to start if you want to start with Jessica Gadziala because it's a shorter series and you get to see a lot of the central figures in Mathewson Bank explained and described while still mainly following this one central family. Then I have Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert, which is the first in the Brown Sisters series, and so all three sisters get their own book. This one I really like because the family is not super on page for the book. Like, they're there at the beginning and they're there at the end, but they're not like constantly interacting with each other. But I really loved just the support and the descriptions of their family life and their grandma, as well as their parents, as well as the sisters, all kind of being there when you needed them to be, even if it's with tough love. And I really enjoyed this one. So the first one, she has fibromyalgia, and so it has chronic illness representation. She has a near-death experience and is like, my life is just passing me by. I need to move out of my parents' house. I need to figure this out. And so she does, and she moves into an apartment, and the super, I think, for the apartment, like falls for her, and she is like grumpy and he's sunshine, but they have a little bit of a hate to love. They are nice to like everybody else but each other. And I just really enjoyed it. This series, they do all have kind of unnecessary third act breakups, but the writing is so good and I really enjoyed the characters in every single one of these. The dialogue is amazing. I just love it. Very much looking forward to reading the third book. Then I have the McLean Brothers series. This is my last one. Last but not least, I so could put more on here, but McLean Brothers by Alexandria House. I love them so much. I love this family so freaking much. The first one is about a rapper. The second one is about an NBA star. The third one is about a businessman. And the fourth one is about a recovering addict. They're all brothers. They're amazing. They're amazing. I'm not even into celebrity romances like at all. I'm telling you that this series is worth reading. It's so good. And then the novella is their sister. And then there are so many other of Alexandria House's books that reference the McLeans that they show up in, either because they're a cousin or just because they're visiting somebody else. It's great. They're so supportive while also being like calling each other out on what needs to be done. And I love them. And so Jo, the heroine in the first book, she does not have a supportive family. She has a really terrible one who are just like users. And Everett's family just like wraps her up in their arms. It's so sweet. And I'm just like, yes, yes. It's so sweet. It's so sweet. He's a rapper. His artist name is Big South, but he makes a bad first impression. You've heard me do the spill before. She makes him make it right. But then I'm telling you, the glory of Alexandria House's books is there's no better representation than this first one, Let Me Love You, because he can give her the world, right? He's rich, he's famous, he's got it all. But the thing that he really gives her is meeting her emotional needs and making every aspect of her life better than it was before he came into it. And just always treating her with respect and with love and with adoration. And I just love it with my whole soul and being. It's so good. I love the family so much. They have this crazy uncle that is just the funniest character. And they have supportive friends and of course the supportive family, and I just really, really, really love it a lot. A lot, a lot. Like, holds a very valuable place in my heart. I love them. So now that I'm like completely into my emotions for no reason whatsoever, what romances have you read where they had a really supportive family? Because I have to tell you, this is a dynamic I really enjoy reading about. I like watching people find happiness even if they aren't struggling. You know, I feel like so many times we put so many things for our characters to overcome and to grow from, and how they have such a hard past. And a supportive family doesn't cross that out. But more than anything, I kind of just want to read about people being happy. And having a supportive family is a great way to do that. I just really enjoy it, and I honestly don't read enough. If you know of some romances where it's just like their family is the best, please let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.